Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're talking week 2 around the NFL. All the Sunday games have wrapped up. We're going to go over each one of them for you starting right now. We're going to start with Jets-Browns. Jets make a huge comeback in this thing and win 31-30 behind Joe Flacco's 307 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And the rookie Garrett Wilson, 8 catches, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns off of 14 targets. Not a bad second game for him at all. That is quite impressive, I would say, for Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, it feels like Garrett Wilson has arrived. I mean, really, I feel like for rookies, it's hard. You're like, I want to see one more game. But this early with Flacco and this type of game, I thought it was really impressive. So I think they got something special in that guy.
Yep. Corey Davis caught a 66-yard touchdown in this one as well. Breece Hall, the other rookie there, caught a touchdown for 10 yards. He only had 7 carries, but he turned it into 50 yards, 7.1 yards per carry. You know, it's interesting. We'll see if he gets more work in the future. They were behind, though. That's going to be the problem. They were behind, and they probably will a lot. So the carries just weren't there. At least he looked good in that opportunity. You know, only 8 touches, but 60 total yards and a touchdown. So not bad for Breece Hall. For the Browns, Brissett, 229 yards, touchdown, a pick, but it's Nick Chubb, 17 carries, 87 yards, 3 touchdowns for Nick Chubb. And Kareem Hunt's involved, and we've always said this. Kareem Hunt is going to be involved, and people would ask, well, doesn't Kareem Hunt scare you? Because we've been the Nick Chubb guys. No, he doesn't scare me. Nick Chubb's that good.
And honestly, Hunt I started him in one of my leagues because I needed to after injuries and whatever. But, it wasn't an impressive outing. But usually where he gets you is the receiving game, to be quite honest. That is where he can really put in a dent, even with Chubb in. He didn't do that today, and he still got 58 yards on the ground. So I feel really good about it. And Chubb, man, he shows up. He does his thing. He's good every single time out. And we'll see if things change once Watson is behind center. But, man, This is more to come. They're just going to pound it, down people's throats. And they probably shouldn't have lost this one. This could change things. But, I mean, they could have easily been 2-0 after this. And,
I saw an ESPN article come out tonight for fantasy. It said, Nick Chubb is now an RB1. He's a must start in your lineup. Okay, we've been telling you that since day one. Come on.
Dumbest headline. He never was not an RB1 in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
This is no surprise. And then for the receiving game, it really was nobody else but Amari Cooper. 9 for 101 and a touchdown. So that's solid for Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I really do want to know your thoughts on this one. This one is a perplexing one because we know what he's capable of. He's up and down even when he was in Dallas. Now you have Brissett, you have this. He puts up a huge game. What are you thinking?
I think we're going to get the same old Amari Cooper, and you just never know.
You think next week is going to be 3 for 30 or something?
I could be. Or maybe he has back-to-back good games and then he falls off. It's Amari Cooper for you. How about Washington and Detroit? The Lions win 36-27. They were up 22-0 at half. They let Washington get back in it, but you know what? They kept going. They kept scoring, and they finished this thing off. Jared Goff was 20 of 34, 256, 4 touchdowns. Gotta love to see it from Jared Goff. If you got Jared Goff in super flex leagues late, if you waited around, if you got Jared Goff and in this game Carson Wentz, man, you're feeling good right now. To be honest, those guys are putting up points. But Goff, 4 touchdowns. 2 of them went to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, hey, I had some hesitations on him this year. I thought maybe he did this all without Hockenson. You know what? Doesn't matter. He's that guy. 9 catches, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's that good. He's that good. That's awesome.
He also rushed the ball twice, with one of them for a huge game. So
yeah, I mean, 58 yards on one of them. So 68 yards on the ground, 116 through the air, 2 touchdowns. What a day for St. Brown.
Yeah, he's a big part of what they do. And even that one, it's kind of funny to look at, 9 receptions for 116. He's not the big play guy, but they're catching him. I mean, they're finding him in the red zone as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't care if every single one is for 10 yards. If you're throwing it to him, 12 times and whatever, 3 of them are going to be in the red zone, you're going to have a good day. So,
Yep.
yeah, gotta love that from him. And
so Swift, he only had 5 carries, 56 yards. One of them was a 50-yard run. So that's why he had 56. He did catch a touchdown for 22 yards. And so he had two catches for 31 total. So on the day, he gets 87 yards and a touchdown. So it's a solid day. He was questionable coming into this. And part of it could be maybe they didn't want to give him a full workload. But he's been good in the opportunity he's been given, obviously. So hopefully it's more of that. And we'll see a lot more next week from him.
I would say so. It's because he did only get 5 rushes, which in a game where you're up at halftime by like 20 double digits, you're kind of like, okay. But they did give Williams 12 carries, and he was 53 yards. He did fine with those as well. So it's whatever happens in the offense. But Swift, I think, is legit. Like, it's always great to see a game that maybe he shouldn't have done that well, and he still finds the end zone. He still does these good things, a 50-yard run, whatever. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to like about the Lions. And I know I sound like a homer here, but hey, it is what it is. Right now, they're actually playing pretty good. And even the way they showed out on the Eagles, there's some fantasy possibilities here on the roster.
The only worry would be Hawkinson. He hasn't really done much yet. We'll wait and see. It's tight end. It's a tough position. So if you have him, you're probably rolling with him right now. So still for a little bit. For Washington side of things, Wentz threw for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's going to put up fantasy numbers, it looks like. And this was mainly in the second half. They did absolutely nothing in the first half. So this all comes in the second half. Curtis Samuel, 2 days in a row, two games in a row, 7 for 78 in this one and a touchdown. So, and 1 run for 21. So, hey, it's becoming more of a thing. We'll see if it continues. And then Dotson caught another touchdown pass in this one, 4 for 59. McLaurin was 4 for 75. McKissick caught 7 balls for 54. And on the ground, Antonio Gibson, 14 carries, only 28 yards and a touchdown. That's the Antonio Gibson we thought we were getting. That's why we had like Brian Robinson. So.
But he got the touchdown. So once again, it's going to look good. Is he one of those guys that you would, after 2 good weeks, would you look at possibly trying to move him? Or are you sticking with him because you know he's going to get quite a bit of touches?
Man, I if someone wants him, I would try to trade him for something of value. I really would. I don't. And Robinson will be back. He will be at some point. So, I'll try to trade him. All right, let's go to Bucks Saints. Not much scoring in this one, but the Bucks win 20-10. Brady only 190 and a touchdown. That touchdown went to Brashad Perriman. Mike Evans caught 3 for 61, got ejected later on for defending Brady. Fournette, 24 carries, only 65 yards out of it, 2.7 yards per carry on the day for him. And he only caught 2 balls for 9 yards. So just not much offense here. But that's a typical, I think, Bucks Saints game. Bucks, though, in 2 games, only 19 points and 20 points. So there is some concern, I would say. But again, there's no receivers in this one. Julio was out. Godwin was out. Not going to pass judgment yet, but it's not, the offense isn't as explosive this year right now. Saints, this Jameis, 236, a touchdown, 3 picks.
That's the Jameis we love.
Yeah. That one touchdown went to Michael Thomas. So Michael Thomas isn't putting up like massive numbers, but he's getting touchdowns. He was 6 for 65 in this. The nice thing is, though, the rookie, Olave, another rookie here, but it was only 5 for 80, but 13 targets is nice to see in only his second game. So that's impressive. And they didn't have Alvin Kamara in this one as well. So, but Olave with 13 targets, it's a solid second outing for the rookie, I would say. That's the one, if there's a positive out of this game, that's it pretty much. Yeah, really, not much else. Wasn't the greatest game.
No, kind of ugly game. And it's one of those where you start wondering too, because I mean, I don't know, Winston threw it 40 times. Like, is this going to be the Winston when he was back in Tampa where he leads the league in like yardage, but he also leads it in, interceptions and whatnot. I don't know what to make of either of these offenses right now. So I love how hoping to get clarity in both of them. You got clarity on neither.
So how about the Panthers Giants? Kind of an ugly game here too. Giants win 19-16 though to go 2-0. Baker in his second opportunity, he's not doing it. 14 of 29, 145 and a touchdown. That one touchdown went to DJ Moore, who caught 3 for 43. McCaffrey, 15 carries, 102 yards, 4 catches, 26 yards. That's about it. That's what you get here.
Yeah, no, I hate to say it, but I really thought McCaffrey was going to like help the team turn the corner. And McCaffrey, if it wasn't for one big run, it would have had a very different day.
Yarder.
And I'm kind of being like, why are we not throwing it to McCaffrey a lot more?
Yeah, they
so
should be.
I don't know what this is, but Mayfield does not look good. I mean, there's really, really bad numbers. And the whole thing, I mean, besides for Moore catching a touchdown, and like everything is down. So if you're gambling on the upside of touchdown production by Moore, that's the only thing you can cheer for at the moment.
All right, for the Giant side, Daniel Jones threw for 176 and a touchdown. Saquon didn't look as good as last week, but 21 carries, 72 yards, caught 3 balls for 16. So we got 88 total yards, I guess, but that's not really what you're looking for. And the receiving group just looks ugly when you look at it, to be honest. Richie James led the way with 5 for 51. David Sills, 3 for 37. Kenny Golladay doesn't show up at all. Kadarius Toney caught 2 balls for 0 yards. Was Kenny Golladay even playing? Like, what the heck's going on here?
I don't know.
2 snaps. It was 2 snaps for Kenny Golladay. That is it. And I read this article that he emptied his locker room after the game. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I felt like this game was the Lesu who loses their starting job first kind of deal with the QBs.
I mean, Golladay, I think his stint in New York is pretty much done at this point. He's not making that comeback. That was, the Lions dodged a bullet. That would have been such a Lions thing to sign that guy to a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, at least he got a big contract, but man,
I guess maybe they can release him and Lions can sign him for nothing, for minimum. Let's do it. I don't know if the guy can play even anymore.
I mean, he did great for us.
All right. How about Patriots, Steelers? Patriots win this one 17-14. Again, a lot of these are there's not great fantasy outputs in these games. Mac Jones, 252 and a touchdown and a pick. Nelson Aguilar caught that touchdown and had 6 for 110. Jacoby Myers, 9 for 95 with 13 targets. That's not bad. Jacoby Myers, if he puts up numbers like that, he's going to be very viable, but we'll see. Aguilar, I'm not going to really look into it too much. 6 for 110, but he was 3 for 28 last week. So,
yeah.
On the ground, Damian Harris led the way, 15 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. He got hurt on the very last play, and it kind of looked bad, but he was at the podium after the game. It seemed all fine, all good.
I was freaking out because I had him and obviously Craig had Stevenson, but it looked like he just knee contact with the lineman as he was going through. It did look bad. As soon as it went down, I was like, Craig's going to be right because of his injury, and I'm going to hate this so much. But no, both of them look, and that's the thing. Both of them look really good.
Yeah,
the passing game it was fine. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Mac Jones is not bad, but you need that run game, and they both look kind of special. So it's kind of a rough spot. But if they do end up moving, Harris or something, that'd be great. By the way, I'm at a hotel right next to the Bad Bunny show, so
nice.
Crowd go crazy.
Then Stevenson had 9 for 47 in this one. So Steelers side, Trubisky 168 touchdown, a pick. That one touchdown went to Pat Freiermuth, who didn't really do much other than that. He had 4 for 22, but the touchdown saves his day. And at tight end, that's all you need. Deontay Johnson had 6 catches, 57 yards. Najee Harris caught 5 for 40, ran the ball 15 for 49. Not the same. Najee was getting hyped or getting rated as high as he was because it was just all volume, right? And he's the guy. But if you're not on a good offense, it doesn't matter. So he's not doing much in 2 games. Najee Harris is not an RB1 right now necessarily. 89 total yards is okay, but
yeah. And I realize these aren't bad numbers. They're not good, but they're not terrible. But the same thing with last week. Like, winning is the only thing that's going to keep Trubisky in there if he keeps these numbers up. I'm fully ready to for everyone to be calling for Pickett just because I think it will help with the passing numbers on these very talented wide receivers.
Yep. Claypool 4 for 26. Pickens caught 1 for 23 in this thing. How about Colts in Jacksonville? Jacksonville wins 24-0.
Didn't see that one coming.
Wow. So Trevor Lawrence, 25 of 30, 235, 2 touchdowns. Very solid day. And both of those touchdowns went to Christian Kirk, who caught 6 for 78. Evan Ingram caught 7 for 46 too. Yeah, Christian Kirk, good start. James Robinson got most of the work at running back, but it was 23 carries for only 64 yards, and that included a 37-yard run. So he averaged 2.8 yards per carry with a 37-yard run. He did get a touchdown, give him that. Caught 2 balls for 14 yards. ETN 9 for 20, so his yards per carry was even worse, but he didn't have that 37-yard run. He caught 3 balls for 33. I mean, I've heard a lot of James Robinson praise. I even saw like somebody posted on Twitter, James Robinson is what you hoped Cam Akers would be this year, which sure, he's been better, but it's not like, I mean, we're all right. Let's get a little more, but
I'm still holding out the hope on ETN actually that this, because the fantasy numbers look so much better. Like they look very lopsided after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Totally get that. Robinson has done an admirable job, but it does set up a situation where I think that if you have even a close, like once you see ETN numbers tick up a little more usage wise, I know that people are going to think I'm just holding down the hope, but I do think that he would be a trade target come in the next few weeks for me, because I think that his value is taking a big enough hit where if you didn't draft him, you could go after him in a trade.
True. Yeah, definitely. Colts, nothing happened here. Matt Ryan threw 16 of 30, 195, no touchdowns, 3 picks. Jonathan Taylor, he's good, but he only had 9 carries. 9 carries, 54 yards. They were losing. They couldn't run the ball. So that was disappointing. If you're a Jonathan Taylor owner, this hasn't happened in a long time to you. And they didn't have Michael Pittman in this one. But as soon as they don't have Michael Pittman, their receiving core is just – Alec Pierce was actually out as well.
Mm-hmm.
They just have nothing. Ashton Dolan leads the way, 5 for 79. Paris Campbell, that shows how like he is just not a thing. There's nobody else there, and the guy can't even get a catch. He has 2 targets, no catches. He's not a thing. So just ugly. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll be a little better if they get Pittman back next week. How about this one? Dolphins, Ravens. Ravens had this thing won. It was a blowout, to be honest. It was becoming a blowout. Lamar Jackson was looking like the best quarterback of the day. He had 4 total touchdowns. And the Dolphins come back and win 42-38. Tua, 36 of 50, 469 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's a...
Well, you know, the worst part about that is like the comeback is watching it. Tyreek Hill, we all know how dangerous he is. It takes nothing away from him, but these don't look like the most amazing throw or catches or anything like that. It literally looks like broken plays where Tyreek Hill has no one around him, and then they let him, these huge touchdowns. Even though Tua, good for him, I feel like he's been very unfairly kind of like put in a situation where he, is he the guy, isn't he the guy, way too early. But I know everyone is going to throw him and be like, Tua's the next big thing or whatever. I was not overly impressed, even with all this. Like, the game was crazy, but the way they came back, I was kind of like, the throws weren't that impressive, to be quite honest.
We'll see if we can do something next week. We'll see. We'll find out. But this was insane, though. Tyreek Hill, 11 catches, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns off 13 targets. Jalen Waddle, 11 catches, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns off 19 targets. Mike Gesicki caught 4 for 41 and a touchdown. And some guy named River Craycraft caught 1 touchdown. Never heard of this guy in my life. But the Mostert led the ground game with 11 for 51. Edmonds did have a nice 28-yard run on that touchdown drive, that game-winning touchdown drive, but he only had 5 for 33. So the Ravens, Lamar was awesome for the most part until, they just didn't finish it off. But he was 21 of 29, 318, 3 touchdowns, ran 9 times for 119 yards and a touchdown. They had no ground game because Kenyon Drake and Mike Davis just probably should be out of the NFL, and they keep getting jobs on teams that I don't know why. Drake 6 for 8, Davis 5 for 4, Justice Hill at 3 for 16. They really need J.K. Dobbins. If J.K. Dobbins is healthy next week, if he can play next week, he's going to get all of the work. Clearly, he's going to get all of the work if he can, if they want to give him that much, because this was bad. But I mean, they had some good stuff in the pass game there. Bateman 4 for 108 and a 75-yard touchdown, though. Mark Andrews, 9 for 104 and a touchdown. He had 11 targets. So solid
Andrews
there.
is still, he's a killer. I mean, he's great. But watching Lamar break off a long run was really good to see, because I feel like maybe I'm just having that bias in my head, but I feel like I haven't seen that in a while. And he did it in a game where he didn't really have to run. Like, he did it after they were already up, which was really cool. So yeah, Lamar, the bar is set very high for him. And I love that Bateman looks like a legit receiver for him, because and honestly, who was Duvernay? Actually, he had a catch that kick. Good, then
he also returned that kick. He returned the kick to start the game for a touchdown, so that was solid too. So, what's actually interesting? This isn't really fantasy relevant yet, but Isaiah Likely, he actually is involved in this early on. 5 targets, caught 4 of them for 43. Last week he didn't have any catches, but he had 4 targets. He's not going to get much work yet, but hey, for the future, this guy's something just a name to remember, I think, at this point, right? Yeah.
Just I feel very validated every time his name comes up now.
it's not going to be this year, but he's going to become a fantasy thing at some point.
Honestly, I wouldn't even, and I wouldn't go out and get him yet in redraft leagues, but I will say this, like, when you're looking at it, say if Duvernay really is, if he's going to be in concussion protocol, if they only have Andrews and Bateman, there's plenty of room for a second tight end, to be quite honest. Like, there is. So I wouldn't rule him out yet for this year. Keep him in your back pocket, but he's one of those guys where, if you're in a rough spot or whatever, you could play him as a tight end, and you're hoping you can get him before he kind of breaks out. Because I called this before, but I really do think this turns into a 2 tight end kind of set, and you have like the middle of the field is just deadly, and then Bateman is kind of just strolling all over the place trying to break, going over the top, and then, and then Jackson can run. So I think there's plenty of room in the offense. I think they're waiting for him to grasp it a little more.
Yep. All right. How about Falcons Rams? Rams win 31-27, but the Falcons actually gave them a scare here at the end. This was a blowout until the Falcons started coming back a little bit. But Mariota threw for 196, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. On the ground, Cordero Patterson came back down to earth in this one, 10 carries, 41 yards, no catches at all. So that's not helping. Tyler Algier was active, got to play, but didn't do much with it. He had as many carries as Patterson, though, but 10 carries, 30 yards. Drake London, here we go, another rookie in his second game doing something here. 8 for 86 and touchdown off 12 targets. So that's 3 rookie receivers with double-digit targets this week. So all the 3 big receivers, really, and they're all getting targets. So nice to see. Definitely nice to see there. And Zacchaeus caught a touchdown as well on that one. For the Rams, Stafford threw for 272, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks as well. That's the Stafford experience for you. Darrell Henderson had the most yards on the ground with 47. He got a touchdown. Akers actually ran the ball more. He had 15 carries, only 44 yards. That's kind of what lines he was putting up last year when he came back from injury. So it does feel like last week was more of a message at this point if Akers came back and had 15 carries, but he didn't do anything with him here. He did catch 2 balls for 18 yards. So he had more yards than Henderson, but Henderson got the touchdown. But he's involved, but not playing well yet. And this might be what he is. So we'll see.
I mean, that would bode well for Henderson. Not saying he's going to be like an RB1 or anything, but I do think that he turns into a very playable option.
Then Cooper Kupp, guy's good. 11 catches, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just keeps doing it. Tyler Higbee, 7 for 71. So again, tight end. He's becoming an option. Last week he had 5 catches for 39 yards, but it's really the targets I'm looking at. He had 11 targets in week 1, 9 targets in week 2. If you get a tight end that's getting that kind of targets, that's big. So okay, Higbee. Robinson gets himself a touchdown. And this one, Allen Robinson, 4 for 53, got that touchdown. So little more there, but the Akers Henderson things, we'll see how it plays out. Akers are just not, I don't know, doesn't look great. Doesn't look great. All right, 49ers Seahawks. 49ers win 27-7. Trey Lance busted his ankle in this one. He's going to be out for the year. So the 49ers are probably very happy they ended up not trading Jimmy Garoppolo because he's their guy now. Garoppolo, maybe he put up a Garoppolo type numbers, I would say 13-21, 154, a touchdown. He did run one in for a touchdown as well. The other running touchdown went to Kyle Juszczyk, of course. Jeff Wilson got the most carries with 18, turned it into 84 yards. So, I mean, that's probably what you'd expect from Jeff Wilson. You would hope, though, he used to be the touchdown guy. Those goal line touchdowns should have been Jeff Wilson's, right? But they did not go to him. Davis Price did get some work, 14 carries, 33 yards. He had a 20-yard run, which looked impressive, but then the rest of his carries were only 13 yards. So Debo, 4 for 53 on the ground, caught 5 for 44. So that's Debo's, I don't know if he's really living up to wide receiver 1 type status right now, but
I will say that, I mean, no one would love to watch that be the case more than me because I downplayed him so much. But I will say that he is still impressive with the amount of yardage he can get, with the amount of touches he got in this game. I don't think that's indicative of him, but
he had a 51-yard run. I think they just need to give him the ball more, to be honest, in the run game, I would say. Brandon Ayuk caught 5 balls for 63 in this one. Ross Dwelly filling in for Kittle caught a touchdown, only 1 catch, but it was 38 yards. So there you go. That's San Francisco. Seahawks side of things. Geno, 24 of 30, 197, no touchdowns, and a pick. On the ground, Rashad Penny, 6 carries, 15 yards. Ken Walker, 4 carries, 10 yards. That's ugly all around. Tyler Lockett was dropped in leagues last week and then pulls off 9 for 107. DK Metcalf, 4 for 35. Man, DK Metcalf was such a promising player.
I mean, there's nothing you can do on this team about that. This is what I was kind of expecting week 1. I'm kind of glad they got a win and could celebrate a little bit because and 49ers do have a good defense. I don't want to overstate it too much, but I think this will be something we see from this offense every once in a while. And man, it was I don't know. You're not going to be able to tell either. Maybe DK will get 100 yards one game, maybe Lockett, but you can't trust anyone on this team. So that is not a good sign for any Seattle owners.
How about Bengals Cowboys? Cowboys win 20-17 after only scoring 3 points last week. Cooper Rush is their quarterback, and they beat the Bengals, who go to 0-2.
Dude, what is happening with the Bengals? That's what I want to know. Rush, good story.
Yeah,
but I feel like
the Bengals,
man, the hangover is real.
Burrow, 24 of 36, 199 in 1 touchdown. The 1 touchdown went to T. Higgins, who caught 6 for 71. Jamar Chase was 5 for 54. On the ground, Mixon had 19 carries for 57 yards, caught 3 balls for 26 yards. Just, I don't know, just not much there. Maybe the Cowboys defense is solid. They held Bucks to 19 last week, but we've got to see something from the Bengals here.
But the Bucks didn't do anything this week either.
No, I know. Not great for the Bengals. We'll see. But one more week of this, and it's a real worry. For the Cowboys, Cooper Rush, 19 to 31, 235, a touchdown. The 1 touchdown to Noah Brown, who caught 5 for 91. CeeDee Lamb was 7 for 75. Zeke on the ground, 15 for 53. Pollard, 9 for 43, but he got himself the touchdown. He also caught 4 for 55, so he had good, 98 total yards and a touchdown for Pollard. Zeke with 49 total yards. So just not impressive there either. For CeeDee Lamb, not really a huge start, but 7 catches is solid. 11 targets is solid, but I don't know how much he can get going. Even though they get the win, the offense isn't this explosive offense you would hope for from the Cowboys, especially without Dak. How about the Broncos Texans? Broncos win 16-9, but through 2 games, this offense is not impressive for the Broncos at all.
This has got to be the one team that I'm probably the most wrong about.
I thought they'd be explosive, to be honest.
And the worst part too is Sutton looks the part, right? I thought Jerry Jeudy would be up and down, and Sutton 7 for 122, but they just are not putting points up on the board. And my man Russell Wilson is making me look like a fool. I would be 100% honest on that one. That's brutal. And
they trade for him, trade all these picks, give him all this money, and he's 14 of 31, 219 touchdown and a pick. Man, and that 1 touchdown doesn't help anybody in fantasy. It went to some guy named Eric Saubert or some tight end.
Yeah.
Who never heard this guy. And Jerry Jeudy left this game with a rib injury, so that's why he only had 1 for 11. Yeah. Javonte Williams led the ground game with 15 carries, 75 yards, but there's Melvin Gordon with 10 carries of his own for 47. Javonte does look better. He looks like the better running back, but Melvin Gordon's just not going anywhere, it seems like.
No, I'm hoping this gets going because And the Texans, I will give them credit in this situation. Like, they're playing way better than I thought they would. But
Sure.
Denver in 2 weeks should have definitely put more points on the board.
Yep. Davis Mills threw for 177, no touchdowns, no picks. Damian Pierce, 15 carries, 69 yards. So he did get the work this week. Nothing from Rex Burkhead on the ground at all, which is kind of surprising. Next, if Rex Burkhead was the lead back, didn't get a single carry this week. Burkhead did catch 2 balls, but Nico Collins led the way with 5 for 58, and Brandon Cooks was 5 for 54. I don't really expect much on the Houston offense this year, though, either. Damian Pierce will do something, it looks like, but yeah, not much here. How about Cardinals Raiders? What a comeback for the Cardinals here. And then they win this thing in overtime off a Hunter Renfrow fumble. And they were Raiders were in field goal range basically to win this game. Man, the Cardinals were dead in this game. They were doing nothing, and they come back and get this win.
This was going to be another team where I was freaking out about being like, I can't believe I'm wrong about Russell Wilson. I can't believe I'm wrong about Murray.
Yep.
And honestly, and then even Hollywood Brown should have had another huge catch and just got rocked, and it just popped out. So it would have been another, I don't know what that was, 25-yard gain or whatever. But yeah, it was looking real bad in the first half. So hopefully this snapped him out of it, because this was a huge OT win for him. Yep. And poor Renfrow, man, he fumbled it twice. He got drilled that second time.
Kyler, he looked what everyone wants to see from him towards the end of that game, and just moving around, doing whatever he wanted to do. Like it was all fun to see. They need to see more of that. We need to get that going. And he threw for 277, a touchdown, a pick. That one touchdown went to to Dortch, I believe.
Yep.
Greg Dortch. Ertz led the way, 8 for 75. Marquise Brown was 6 for 68 on the ground. James Conner left this thing with was it an ankle injury, I believe. I want to say, he left with an ankle injury, so he only had 7 carries, 25 yards. Darrell Williams took his place, 8 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Eno Benjamin had 8 for 31. So don't know the extent of Connor's injury. He did have 51 total yards in this one early, but we'll see. Don't know what that's going to entail. For the Raiders, Derek Carr, 252, 2 touchdowns. The touchdowns went to Waller and Adams like you'd like, but Adams only at 2 for 12. He got that touchdown early. It looked like it was going to be a good day, and then nothing. Nothing after that. Waller was 6 for 50, but Hollins was their leading receiver for yards with 66 on 5 catches. Renfrow had the most catches with 7 for 59. Jacobs on the ground, 19 carries, 69 yards, but he's clearly the guy there. Zamir White only had 1 carry. So not really taking effect, but they should have won this game, and they just let it slip away.
Yeah, they blew this one.
And then how about final game? Packers, Bears. Packers went pretty easily, 27-10. Aaron Rodgers threw 19-25, solid, 234, 2 touchdowns. Just solid Aaron Rodgers numbers. Aaron Jones caught a touchdown, and Allen Lazard caught a touchdown. Only 2 catches for Lazard in his first game. Aaron Jones, 15 carries, 132 yards and a touchdown. Like I said, he also had the receiving one. So he had 170 total yards and 2 touchdowns, which is a big day for Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon had the most carries. Again, 18 for 61, but it doesn't matter. These guys are both playable, I feel like. Dillon didn't turn it into much fantasy output in this one, only 67 total yards. But if you're getting 18 carries, playable. So both guys are playable. Sammy Watkins, 3 catches, actually leads the team, tied for the lead in the team with 3 catches, 93 yards off a 55-yarder. So he's just spreading the ball around to everybody right now, trying to figure out probably who to throw to. Watkins with 3, Jones with 3, Cobb with 3, Dubs with 2, Lazard with 2, Tanyan with 2. Watson had 3, actually, but only for 9 yards. Dillon had 1. None for my guy, Josiah DeGuara, but it's all good. It's all good. Everyone else can catch it but him. And then Bears, Justin Fields, 7 for 11, 70 yards, no touchdowns and a pick.
When you're the only QB that plays, and you're losing by, how would you only throw the ball 11 times? Like, holy crap, the Bears are in so much trouble. And even worse, I mean, the only person that did anything was Montgomery. 15 carries for 122 yards.
Yep, solid. And then
Fields did run in one touchdown to give him a little bit of credit.
Montgomery caught 2 balls.
But
St. Brown caught 2 balls.
I will say this: the one person I am in straight panic mode about is Mooney. I thought after last year, what he was able to do, even with Fields and how bad they were, I was like, Mooney is the one that'll be bulletproof on this team. Like, he will get enough targets where it will if you're only going to throw the ball 11 times, Mooney
you can't do anything. Yeah, you can't. He can't do anything. He has 2 catches for 4 yards on the season off only 5 targets for the whole year.
I mean, what? So bad.
Even like if you were one of these guys, if you're looking to get Cole Kmet, you're thinking this can be a tight end, a little further down tight end that could do something. Cole Kmet has no catches on the year. He has 2 targets, no catches. This is ugly. Justin Fields just does not seem like he has it. I don't know what this is.
How do you not throw the ball 20 times?
I don't know what this is.
How's that possible in today's NFL?
I mean, I don't know. This is ugly. They actually won a game last week somehow, but this is ugly. So
it was only because it was raining. And,
pretty much.
And I don't want to, I don't want to kick Trey Lance when it's out.
Yeah, true. That's ugly. Bears are ugly. All right. That's it for week 2. Well, there's still 2 more. There's 2 Monday night games, which is an odd thing. You got the ESPN game that starts at 7:15 Eastern, Titans Bills, and then at 8:30, so they're overlapping here on ABC, is Vikings Eagles. So it's an odd.
I actually kind of love this because it turns into how is Derrick Henry fully back versus which Bills will score the most. I mean, like you're always, it's like competing against each other for reps, and then Vikings Eagles will turn into AJ Brown versus Justin Jefferson.
Yep, I think I like the matchup. So
yeah,
all right, hey, real quick before we sign off, we just got a message on the Discord. So if you're not in our Discord, check us out on the link in the notes here. But Wyland just asked, would you trade Brandon Ayuk for Trevor Lawrence and Jaylen Warren? He said, my quarterback was Trey Lance, 14 teams. So a lot of teams, not many quarterbacks out there. Would you trade Ayuk for Trevor Lawrence? I think you probably have to.
Yep. I would, without a doubt. Yep. I think you're getting Lawrence on the way up, and Ayuk, I like his upside. I still do, but at the same time, Kittle was out. There's a lot to figure out in San Fran right now as a wide receiver. So take Trevor Lawrence on the upswing.
Yep. And if you're not on the Discord, go jump on there. We're answering questions. Other people are answering questions all the time, all day. So a lot of stuff on there. That Bready Spaghetti mailbag thing where we thought there's no way it could be Justin Jefferson. It was Justin Jefferson. So so he got Justin Jefferson in the trade too. So all right, go on there.
No, it really was. Oh,
it was.
No kidding. That was the actual trade. Yeah. Wow. You just wow. Good for you, Brady.
And we were able to touch base on the Discord after the fact. So go join the Discord. Basically, you'll hear from us all the time. But all right, that'll do it for today. Talk to you guys next time.